The curse began long before Liam O'Connor was born, whispered in every corner of his hometown like a dark lullaby. For generations, every man in his family had buried his wife within a year of marriage. No illness, no crime, no reason. They simply faded. The people called it the O'Connor curse, and even those who didn't believe still crossed themselves when one of the O'Connor men fell in love. Liam grew up watching his father stare at old photographs of his late mother, the woman who died in her sleep when Liam was barely 6. The pain in his father's eyes was a silent warning. Love is a fire, and in this family, it burns everything it touches. So Liam promised himself he would never marry. Love, yes, maybe. But marriage? Never. He built a quiet life in Dublin, working as an architect, burying himself in deadlines and blueprints, pretending the curse didn't exist. Yet every night, he dreamed of a faceless woman standing in a field of white roses, whispering something he could never quite hear. Then, one evening, under the amber glow of a cafe's lights, Liam met Ava Clark, the woman who would make him forget every promise he'd ever made to himself. Liam had always been comfortable in silence. He liked quiet cafes, steady rain, and the hum of city lights after dark. But when Ava Clark walked into that small Dublin cafe, silence suddenly felt too loud. She sat 2 tables away, her laughter soft but contagious. She was sketching something in a worn notebook, her hair loosely tied, a pencil tucked behind her ear. Every now and then, she looked up. Their eyes met for only a second, yet it lingered like a whisper he couldn't shake off. When the waitress spilled coffee near her sketchpad, Liam instinctively rose to help. Their hands brushed as they reached for a napkin, and for a moment, time slowed. "You saved my drawing," she said, smiling. "Happy to be the hero," he replied, almost shyly. They sat together that evening, talking about art, architecture, and the strange way strangers sometimes feel familiar. Ava's warmth filled every space around her. She made ordinary moments feel like stories worth telling. That night, as Liam walked home under the misty streetlights, he realized he hadn't thought about the curse once, not once. For the first time in years, the weight of his family's history loosened its grip. He didn't know it yet, but fate had already begun to write their names side by side. Weeks turned into months, and Liam found himself orbiting around Ava's world like a man pulled by gravity he couldn't resist. She painted for a living, colors, emotions, memories. Liam often watched her work, fascinated by how she could turn blank canvases into something alive. They spent rainy afternoons in her small studio apartment, drinking tea and listening to old records. She laughed easily, spoke with her hands, and always looked him in the eyes, as if she could see straight through his carefully built walls. But some nights, when she fell asleep on the couch beside him, Liam's chest tightened. He'd wake from dreams that made his skin cold, Ava lying still among white roses, just like the faceless woman from his childhood nightmares. He tried to brush it off, told himself love was supposed to scare him a little. Then one evening, as they walked home from the gallery, a stranger stopped Liam in the street, an old man with a shaking voice. "O'Connor," the man whispered, gripping his arm. "You shouldn't be with her. You'll bring her sorrow." Ava froze. Liam, who is he? But the old man just disappeared into the crowd, leaving behind a single white rose on the pavement. That night, for the first time since he met Ava, Liam couldn't sleep. The curse wasn't gone, it had only been waiting. Liam tried to convince himself the old man was just a stranger, maybe confused, maybe drunk. But deep down, his heart knew better. The white rose had appeared too many times in his family's past to be coincidence. Still, he couldn't let go of Ava. She had become his calm in a world that always felt cursed. When she smiled, he forgot everything that haunted him. She called him dreamer, and he called her sunlight. They fit in ways that made the world make sense again, but with every heartbeat came fear. One evening, as they sat watching the city lights from her balcony, Ava leaned her head on his shoulder and whispered, "Do you ever think about the future, Liam? About us?" He hesitated. "I think about it too much." "Then why do you look scared when I talk about forever?" He had no answer, just silence. She looked at him for a long moment, her smile fading slightly, then said softly, "Whatever it is you're afraid of, I'll face it with you." Her words should have comforted him, but they terrified him instead. Because he knew what love had done to every O'Connor before him. That night, he stood by his window, staring at the pendant his father once gave him, an old, cracked piece of metal shaped like half a heart. His father's words echoed, "When you love someone in this family, son, pray she never says, yes." And for the first time, Liam whispered a prayer, not for love to stay, but for it not to destroy her. Liam began waking up in cold sweats again. Every night, the same dream, a woman dressed in white, standing in a field of roses, whispering his name. But this time, he saw her face, and it wasn't faceless anymore. It was Ava. She was calling to him, her hands reaching out, but something invisible pulled her away. He'd wake up gasping, the sound of her fading voice echoing in his mind. "Don't let me go, Liam." He couldn't tell her. How could he? How could he explain that every night he saw her die? During the day, he pretended to be fine. He smiled, made her laugh, brought her flowers. But each time she held a white rose, he felt the air leave his chest. Ava noticed the change, the way he flinched when she touched his hand, the way he stared too long into nothing. "You're keeping something from me," she said one night, her tone gentle but firm. He looked at her, truly looked, and saw the woman who made him believe in miracles. He wanted to tell her everything, but his father's voice haunted him still. "Love is how it starts. Marriage is how it ends." So instead, he said softly, "It's nothing, Ava. Just bad dreams." But deep inside, he knew it was more than dreams. The curse had found her, and it was watching. The following week, Liam received a call from his father, a voice he hadn't heard in months. It was trembling, almost broken. "Liam, you need to come home. There's something you should see." The old O'Connor house stood at the edge of town, shrouded in memories and silence. Dust hung in the air like ghosts too tired to leave. On the dining table lay a leather-bound journal, its cover cracked, pages yellowed by time. "It belonged to your grandfather," his father said quietly. "He started writing it after your grandmother died." Liam hesitated before opening it. The first line made his hands tremble. "To love an O'Connor man is to walk beside death." Each page told the same story. Joy, marriage, and then sudden loss. But one entry near the end caught his eye. The curse was born of betrayal. Centuries ago, our ancestor swore eternal love to a woman he left to die. Her spirit vowed that no O'Connor would ever keep the woman he loved. Unless one day, an O'Connor's love is pure enough to give life instead of take it. Liam stared at those final words, his throat dry. Give life instead of take it. It echoed in his mind like thunder. He thought of Ava, her laughter, her warmth, her trust. For the first time, he understood what the curse demanded. A sacrifice born from love, not fear. That night, he returned to Dublin, holding the journal like a secret weapon. But when he entered Ava's apartment, he found her painting white roses, dozens of them, filling the room with their silent beauty. She looked up and smiled. "You like them? They came to me in a dream." Liam froze. The curse had already touched her. Liam couldn't breathe as he stared at the white roses covering Ava's apartment. They were perfect, too perfect. Every petal looked like it had been painted by fate itself. "Ava," he said quietly. "Where did you get these?" "I painted them," she replied, confused. "Why are you looking at me like that?" He opened the journal slowly, his voice trembling. "Because every O'Connor man before me saw these. Right before the woman he loved died." Ava froze. "What are you talking about?" He told her everything, the curse, the dreams, the deaths. Every secret he'd carried alone spilled out under the dim light of her studio. When he finished, the silence that followed was heavy enough to crush them both. "You should have told me," she whispered. "You made me love you without letting me choose the risk. I was trying to protect you." "You don't protect someone by breaking their trust, Liam." Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't move away. She walked up to him, trembling but steady. "Do you believe this curse can take me?" "It's taken every woman before you," he said, voice cracking. "Then let's give it a reason to fail," she whispered. Before he could stop her, she kissed him, desperate, fearless, defiant. And in that moment the candles flickered out, the air grew cold, and every window in the room shuddered. A shadow appeared on the wall, the faint outline of a woman in white. Ava gasped, gripping his arm. "Liam, she's here." The air turned icy, the shadow on the wall flickered like a dying flame before taking shape, a tall woman dressed in white, her hair drifting as though underwater. Her eyes glowed faintly, sorrowful yet filled with rage. Ava clung to Liam, her heartbeat trembling against his chest. He could barely speak. "Who are you?" he whispered, though deep down, he already knew. The woman's voice was both echo and wind, ancient and broken. "I was the first, the one betrayed by the man who swore eternal love, and left me to die alone." She stepped closer, her bare feet leaving no trace on the floor. Every candle flame bent toward her as if bowing. "You carry his blood," she hissed. "You carry his sin." Liam shielded Ava, shouting, "Take me. Leave her." But the woman's face twisted with grief. "Every O'Connor says the same. None ever mean it." Ava broke free from Liam's arms and stepped forward. "Then let me end it," she said firmly. "If love began this curse, let love finish it." The spirit paused, her form trembling. "You would give yourself for him?" Ava nodded without hesitation, tears glistening. The room grew brighter, blindingly bright. Liam screamed her name, reaching for her hand, but a sudden force pushed him back. When the light faded, Ava was gone. Only a single white rose lay on the floor, its petals glowing faintly in the dark. Liam fell to his knees, his voice breaking into the silence. "No, Ava, please?" And for the first time, he felt what every O'Connor man before him had felt, the pain of losing the woman he loved. But what he didn't know was that the curse had not claimed her. It had taken her somewhere between life and death, where love would have to prove itself one final time. The world felt hollow after Ava vanished. Days blurred into nights. Liam wandered through his apartment like a ghost among ghosts. Her laughter still echoed in the corners, and the scent of paint still lingered in the air. But she was gone, taken by a curse older than mercy. He stopped eating, stopped sleeping. The only thing that kept him breathing was the journal, the page that spoke of the curse ending when love gives life instead of taking it. So one stormy night, Liam returned to the O'Connor estate, clutching the glowing white rose. Lightning flashed as he stepped into the old chapel where the curse was first spoken. He placed the rose on the altar, his voice trembling. "You took her, now take me instead. Bring her back." The wind howled through the broken windows. The woman in white appeared again, her eyes less angry this time, more tired. "Would you give your life for hers, O'Connor?" she asked. Without a second of doubt, Liam whispered, "Yes. Every breath, every heartbeat. Take mine, give it to her." The woman's expression softened. For the first time, her eyes filled with tears. "Then you have done what no man of your name ever could. You have loved without fear." The white rose on the altar burst into light, filling the chapel with warmth. Liam felt his chest tighten, not from pain, but from release. He fell to his knees, breathless, the pendant at his neck shattering into dust. And somewhere far beyond the mortal world, Ava gasped awake. She opened her eyes in a white field, roses swaying around her like waves, and in the distance, she saw Liam's silhouette walking toward her through the light. Ava ran through the endless field of white roses, her bare feet brushing against the petals that shimmered in the light. The air was warm, the sky painted in hues of gold and soft pink. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming, until she saw him. Liam stood ahead, his figure glowing faintly as if he were made of the light itself. His smile was soft, filled with everything he could never say. Ava's tears fell before she even reached him. She wrapped her arms around him, trembling. "You gave your life for mine," she whispered. "No," he said gently. I gave love what it always wanted, truth. The field around them began to fade. The wind carried whispers, the voice of the woman in white, calm now, freed from centuries of pain. The curse is broken, love has finally learned to heal. Liam touched Ava's face one last time. You have to go back, he murmured. Live, Ava, for both of us. I can't lose you again, she sobbed. You won't, he smiled. You'll see me in every sunrise, in every rose that blooms. The light swallowed him, gentle and golden. Ava screamed his name, but her cry turned into breath, real breath. She opened her eyes in her apartment, sunlight pouring through the windows, the smell of roses all around. On her desk lay a single white rose and the broken pendant, now whole again, the two halves rejoined. Years later, Ava opened an art gallery called Forever O'Connor. Her first painting was a field of white roses beneath a golden sky, titled, Don't Marry Me. And every year, on the same day, a white rose bloomed outside her window, no soil, no roots, just love finding its way home.